Good evening. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Stillwater Planning Commission, June 19th, 2018. I'll call the meeting to order. We'll begin with land use items for discussion and possible action. Jim Rutledge, special exception to Planning Commission, SEPC 18-01, requesting review and approval per City Code Section 23-64 of a subdivision design modification for street requirements for a portion of property addressed as 3805 West Rutledge Drive and then known as Juniper Ridge, located outside city limits. Staff.
Let's see, this application requires a three-quarter vote for it to be approved because it's an exception, so we don't have enough individuals here to move forward.
So have a motion to table until...
Motion to table to the next meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we table the special exception till the next meeting.
Which will be July 10th, by the way.
July 10th.
Is that correct?
Yeah, July 10.
Because we're going to skip the third.
Yes, July 10. I assume the motion passes 3-0. The motion passes 3-0. All right. Well, then we'll move on to the next item. Land use item for discussion for Liz and Ryan Robbins. Specific use permit requesting SUP 18-04, requesting review and approval of a specific use permit to allow personal and laundry services use, salon and spa, at property addressed as 1121 Southwestern Road in the Office Zoning District. Staff.
Yes. Good evening. Lance Gross with Development Services. The specific use permit before you tonight is for the Glow Salon and Spa. It's located at 1121 Southwestern. The red boundary indicates the subject site. It's currently zoned office in the O district, and a specific use permit is required for a salon and spa use, which falls under the personal use category. O office is also located to the south. RSS, residential small up single family, is located to the north, east, and west. This is the site plan. 34 parking spaces are required and provided for this site. The site plan shows existing trees that will be retained. The X's on the site plan indicate the trees that will be removed. Screening is required on the east and north boundaries, as required by ordinance. This shows the site plan as it's laid out on top of the aerial photo. The elevations, the top elevation is the west elevation, which will be fronting onto Western. It's a single-story structure, and it's reminiscent of a residential character. The lower elevation is the eastern elevation, which will be facing toward the residential structures to the east. This is a street view showing the site looking to the north, with Western Road on the left-hand side of the photo. The structure that was on the site has been removed, and you can see the existing trees along there as well. The C3 comprehensive plan supports the commercial development. Tree preservation and screening is proposed between the existing site and the residential use. Drainage plan and study must be approved prior to the development. And once again, Kelly Harris is here to answer any specific questions about the application, but I'll try to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions?
On the screening requirements on the north and the east, what is that requirement, Lance? Do you know off the top of your head? Is it a fence or?
It's a 6-foot site-proof fence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, no more questions. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, thank you.
I'll now open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of the item, please step forward, give your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Kelly Harris at 923 South Lowry, here representing the owner tonight. As Lance mentioned, we're proposing this office building, salon and spa. It looks like a residential house to blend in with the neighborhood. We are proposing to have the 6-foot-tall screening fence along the north and east sides. There's already an existing one on the south side, as there's already an office building to the south of it. We are proposing to keep as many trees as we can. Those are mainly along the east side. Most of the other ones will end up coming out with the parking lot and house. I'm going to back up a couple slides here on Lance's, if it'll pop up. This one will work. We have already had the preliminary drainage study approved, so I don't expect a lot of things to change between here and the final, so I don't expect to have issues with that. One comment that the reviewers did mention is the existing site does, about half of it, drain to an existing drainage channel at about this location in the parking lot, and that's where we have the stormwater detention is located in the parking lot and outletting at that location. Now, I have this parking lot set back farther away from Western than is required by code. It could be at 5 foot away from the property line, which is approximately this existing shrub that we have here. That would be 5 feet. I've bumped it back to about 20 because it lines up closer to the existing parking lot to the south. However, that doesn't give me a lot of room to slow down this water that's leaving the parking lot. So when we were laying this out, I thought being away from Western would be more important to the surrounding neighbors. If that is not the case, and to you all, I could move that back up to the 5 feet and have more room on the east side to slow down that water more naturally, instead of installing a stilling basin or something more drastic. But I could work on slowing down that water faster. So that is one of the things that I would like for you to think about, that if I could move that parking up back to still code within the code requirements. Other than that, do you have any questions?
My only comment to that is my preference, from what I understand, is to move it, because then you get the parking lot away from the residential structures. And I'd rather have the parking lot away from the residential structures with the ability to plant some more trees in the area than Western Avenue is a developing area. And so that would be my comment.
Yep, I agree. As we got into this, I think that would be the better alternative in this location.
What about the north parking, Kelly? What?
We do have a small detention area. It's only capturing about from here up, and it does it outlets down. But I've got about 20 feet away from the property line, and it would turn on our site and come down to this existing drainage channel. That's just where it naturally drains to.
If you were to move the south parking west, are you going to move the north parking too?
I could.
What's your feel for that, Mike?
I'd move it all.
Make it look uniform.
Yes. Now, my eyes are not the best anymore, but I'm reading on the north side, it's 13.77 feet.
To the north property line, but we're talking about moving it west.
No, but
Oh.
A comment that I heard, I mean, I heard it correctly, is you had 20 foot on the north side between the parking and the fence.
To the east.
To the east, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
To that east property line.
So it's, okay. I would move both the north and the south parking lot to the west to give you as much area in there away from the residential to plant trees. You got 13.77 feet on the north side between the parking lot and the fence, and that seems like a good area to plant trees in.
It also looks like, Kelly, on that north parking, if it can move to the west, you might be able to save that really large tree that is currently coming out.
If the building doesn't get into it as well.
Right, yeah, yeah. Just a thought.
Yep.
I see the picture with the trees marked.
Oh. Any other questions for Kelly?
Nope.
Thank you
No.
very much.
Thanks.
Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of the item, please step forward.
I'm Belinda Bruner. My backyard is the east property that we looked at in the picture. I don't know if it's, I don't know how to use the computer, so I don't know if it's,
It's up now, so you're,
all right, thank you.
What's your address?
what was your address?
Oh, sorry, 1110
Okay.
South Ridge Drive.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's written there on the.
See there. Okay.
I am for this special use permit, and I have several reasons for being for it, but I don't know what all I'm allowed to speak about, but the owner has worked with me. I didn't know the owner at first at all, but she's been very forthcoming and has worked with me about my concerns. In fact, I was one of the first people to bring up the drainage issue. When we first moved there, the drainage was severe. In fact, our drainage guy didn't even believe us until it started raining and we made him come over right then. Since then, we've done some landscaping that helps a little bit, but there was always a trickle coming from that house, more than a trickle, a little stream coming from that house, almost straight east to our back patio. I understand that with landscaping, she might be able to make some accommodations too, and that there's a planning, what was it, there is a study group, or somebody has talked to her about the drainage issue. Who is in charge of that?
Actually, the engineer, probably.
Yeah. So I am confident that it's not going to be a major problem because she has been so accommodating and forthcoming this entire time, and she has acted as a good neighbor. So I've come to trust her. I wanted to also speak for some of my neighbors who couldn't be here, who are concerned because they have small children. They had concerns about safety and about fumes. I'm not planning to dwell on that because I'm for the special use. And we are also planning to plant trees once the fence is up, the privacy fence. Then we can have a landscaper who can tell us what the effect the fence and the remaining trees will have on our own yard.
Sure.
So I think that's all I have to say unless you have questions.
Thank you very much for
Thank you.
coming
Thank
tonight.
you.
I appreciate that. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Seeing no one wishing else to speak in favor, anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the item? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and ask for staff alternatives.
Okay, the alternatives before you, you basically have four options. Accept the findings, recommend approval as presented tonight. Number two, accept findings, recommend approval with conditions. Number three, find the request is not appropriate and recommend denial. Or number four, table the item to a certain date.
All right. Any other questions? If not, discussion or
Move to accept findings, recommend approval as presented.
I'll second that.
It has been moved and seconded that we accept the findings and recommend as presented. The motion passes 3-0. All right, no problem. Number 3, land use item for discussion, JBJR LLC preliminary plat, subdivision 18-08, requesting review and approval of a preliminary plat on a portion of property addressed as 1910 West 26th Avenue and known as Teal Ridge Estates, to create 38 residential lots in RSS single-family small lot and RT residential two-family zoning districts.
Yeah, this item, we unfortunately don't have a quorum to vote on this one, so.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to be recusing on this item, so.
You can vote on the
Not
postponement.
on the postman, but yeah,
not on the other-
I will be
but not on the
recusing
act.
when it is heard.
So I move to postpone it to our next meeting,
Which is July
10th.
10th. It is- Second. It's been moved and seconded that we postponed this preliminary plat sub 18-08 until the July 10th meeting. The motion passes to postpone 3-0. We'll have approval of the meeting summary for discussion and possible action of the regular meeting of May 15th, 2018.
Move for approval.
Can I second that, Dennis, even though I wasn't here?
Yeah, you can't make the original motion, but you can second.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the regular meeting summary of May 15th. The motion passes 3-0. Miscellaneous items from staff for discussion. The next planning commission will be July 10th, 2018. Motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. The motion passes 3-0. Thank you all very much. Postpone.